Well, let's talk about the monkey, I guess. Yikes. So this is a new offering that comes with a pretty serious horror pedigree. It's being adapted from a Stephen King story and is directed by Oz Perkins. For those of you wondering who the hell is Oz Perkins, you're not alone. I was in the same boat. Oz Perkins is the son of Anthony Perkins, aka Norman Bates of Psycho fame. So, there's a lot going on here, and we start off promising enough with Adam Scott, who I will always respect, love, and know for how hard he repped the fucking Catalina wine mixer, playing the part of Petey Shelburne. This man is desperately trying to get rid of a toy monkey with a drum in front of him, and he looks to be at a pawn shop or maybe an antique shop trying to get rid of this thing. The shop owner wants to know if the drums still work, and Petey explains to him the last thing you want to know is if these drums work. The story here is that when someone turns the key on the monkey starts drumming on his drum, and as soon as he's done with his drumming solo, somebody dies horribly. Now, the person turning the key looks to be safe from all of this. But when the monkey strikes that drum for the last time in this pawn shop, the owner dies in a graphic and brutal way, which would be a common theme for this movie. The cold open's pretty good. I dug it. Petey does his best to saturate this monkey with fire from a flamethrower. But since there's still another 80 minutes left of this movie, I'm assuming he didn't do an effective enough job of it. Sadly, this is the last we see of Adam Scott as Petey Shelburne in this movie, and we end up meeting instead his wife Lois and his twin sons Bill and Hal, both played by Theo James. Petey has disappeared somehow, and the boys find that monkey amongst their dad's belongings. One of them turns the key, and later that night, their babysitter winds up dying at dinner in a very gruesome and somewhat unsavory way. Strangely, Hal suspects that the monkey has something to do with that death. I don't know how he came to that conclusion, if he's that good at guessing, but that's where we wind up. Sadly, though, he doesn't have anybody in his life that he can confide in because his twin brother hates him. For some reason, bullies him relentlessly, absolutely hates him. He's got some pretty funny lines to his brother in this movie about he got more of mom's placenta, that's why he's the stronger being. Hal actually even gets picked on and assaulted with bananas by a group of girls at his school. It gets to the point where Hal decides, if the monkey's responsible for these murders, I'm going to use this monkey against my brother Bill, who's just terrible to me. He winds the key, monkey does his thing. Unfortunately, though, you can't pick your targets, and we see the boy's mom die horribly in front of them. Now, this is where you flash forward a couple of decades, and Hal has estranged himself from everybody in his life. He's managed to have a kid, and he has nothing to do with the kid. And the theory behind it is, if he distances himself from people that he cares about, there's no way they'll be harmed in case this toy monkey ever shows up and starts playing his drum again. Ridiculous. I know that's what it sounds like, but that's the premise of this movie. Unfortunately for everyone, audiences included, he winds up reconnecting with his brother, who he's also estranged from, over a series of phone calls, and the bloodshed begins all over. Now, this movie absolutely aces the gruesome kill test. They're all elaborate, they're all brutal, but the whole thing was a really hard watch for me. And even though I hate all these characters, I did sympathize a little bit with Hal because of the situation he feels like he's in. I can understand wanting to keep your son safe, even if it means never allowing him to know you or be around you. But you just have to feel for that sort of isolation that Hal forces upon himself due to this thing, due to that goddamn monkey. So when I started this channel, I wanted to do blitz reviews, 5-minute reviews, keep it brief, keep it moving. But the more I sat down with some of these really good movies, the more I realized that wasn't doing them justice, and I'm just too long-winded for that. This one's going to be brief, though, because maybe there's a chance one day that I sit down and rewatch this and it all makes sense to me, and I'll wonder loudly and vulgarly how I ever thought that this movie was trash. As for the here and now, though, I almost turned this thing off several times, and I made it through every single one of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre films, so think about that. Hated the characters here. Even the competent actors were saddled with stupidity. Rowan Campbell carried Halloween Ends and was very enjoyable there. But here he wears this weird wig that makes him look like something out of Fraggle Rock. And even though he has a really cool death, he feels so wasted in this film. The monkey, as a whole, feels very Final Destination here, and a lesser version of that movie. And the inclusion of a Grim Reaper type of character at the end of this one sort of justifies that thought. And it could be a reason that maybe I do come back to it and understand what they were trying to do just a little bit better. Did we even find out what happened to the dad from the beginning of the film? I mean, where did he go? For me, it's a 4 out of 10. Not any sort of graceful aging with this movie. And I was highly bummed over this film after all the buzz that I heard about it. I just didn't like the characters. You hated everybody on there. I just can't in any way believe that people like this exist out there in the world. I will have to be in a very weird place if I ever decide to sit back down with this movie and give it another chance. But stranger things have happened. This is Aging Gracefully. I am Matthew Essex. Don't bother with the monkey. I'll see you on the other side. Say bye, Lucille.